Good morning, dear listeners. Today we start a new episode of the No Age Ontology podcast series based on my book, No Age Ontology and the Seven Laws of Reality and Being. Today we speak about the views and ethics of No Age Ontology with the first podcast. And also we introduce the comparison with existentialism and solipsism and No Age Ontology. So, first and foremost, No Age Ontology guiding principles may seem to share some similarities with both solipsism and existentialism in terms of skepticism towards the traditional concepts describing objective reality. But as we see, there are also some key differences between these two ontological and philosophical systems. So first, No Age Ontology doesn't claim to be a philosophical system of thought, nor is it an intellectual theory, but rather, and this is very clear also in the book, it's a compendium of wisdom, ontological teachings, pointing out to a timeless aspect of reality. So this is what No Age Ontology. So on the other hand, solipsism, it is a philosophical system, and it asserts the individual's mind as the only thing that can be known to exist. So in other words, it is the belief that one's own mind is the only one sure thing in existence, and everything else, including the external world and other minds, is uncertain, may not even exist at all. Now, No Age Ontology, a set of ontological systems, do challenge completely the notion of an objective reality independent of the perceiving mind, which is also unreal and without identity. So the No Age Ontology recognizes the interdependence of all phenomena and their intrinsic timeless aspect, which transcends all concepts of time and space. However, unlike solipsism, it doesn't reify one's mind as an independent nor a single entity. So the wisdom traditions of teachings which are described in No Age Ontology do not reify one's mind as an independent or a single entity, whereas solipsism does. And solipsism leads to a radical form of skepticism that undermines the very notion of a shared reality and therefore communication. However, any form of communication may assume an aspect of shared reality and shared experiences among individual minds. So this is the main difference. So the No Age Ontology asserts the timeless aspect of reality of pure being, which is present timelessly in each individual living being, and this is without any self-identity and completely integrated and shared with the reality of pure being of all beings, just like an individual infinite space is integrated and shared with the infinite space of all individuals. So now existentialism and No Age Ontology do reject the idea of a fixed, unchanging self. Existentialists emphasize the importance of individual freedom and choice. They regard reality as a subjective experience where individuals must create their own meanings in a certain existence. The No Age Ontology set of teachings recognize that the self is an ever-changing process without any intrinsic identity. It emerges from the interplay of various aggregates, experiences, events, and is not separate from the perception of objective appearances. Existentialists believe that individuals must be true to themselves and their own values rather than conforming to expectation or external pressures. Also, similarly, No Age Ontology emphasizes the importance of being true to oneself, but also recognizes that self-identity is an illusory, interdependent display, constantly evolving and emerging from one's own experiences and choices. So authenticity is not a fixed state, but rather a continuous process of self-discovery and self-expression. So existentialists also believe that individuals are responsible for their own lives and must take responsibility for their choices and action, and this is of course shared similarly with other traditions, because by recognizing the interconnectedness and interdependence of all phenomena within the principle of cause and effect, Also, the No Age Ontology set of wisdom, teachings, and knowledge, the fact that each individual shares the whole infinite space of reality with all other individuals, which means that one's choices and action do have consequences, not only for oneself, but for the world as a whole. So each one is responsible for one's own impact onto the world and the shared perceptions of reality. So this is a very important aspect which needs to be based on awareness, respect, and presence. Okay, so this is just a brief introduction to the existentialism, solipsism, and No Age Ontology tradition set of teachings, and more information can be found in the book. And thank you for listening.